My girlfriend of 2 years texted her ex saying she missed him and that I was nothing compared to him, then left her phone on my nightstand and fell asleep. I saw a sticky note on her phone that said "Sweet Dreams" and discovered she'd been planning to leave me for weeks. Instead of confronting her, I quietly booked her a one-way flight to her ex's city and packed her bags while she slept. When she woke up, I handed her the boarding pass and told her to go live her sweet dreams. My name is Brandon, I'm 29 years old, and I can't sleep after what happened yesterday. Until 48 hours ago, I thought I was in a loving relationship with my girlfriend Riley, who's 27. We'd been together for 2 years, lived together for the past 8 months, and I genuinely believed we were building something real together. I work as a graphic designer and she's a marketing coordinator at a tech startup. We seemed perfect together, or at least that's what I thought. Riley had always been somewhat secretive about her phone, but I never thought much of it. Everyone deserves privacy, right? She'd get texts and quickly flip her phone face down, or she'd take calls in the other room. I trusted her completely, so I never questioned it. Looking back now, I can see all the red flags I ignored, but love makes you blind to things you don't want to see. 2 nights ago, Riley came home from work seeming distracted. She barely touched her dinner, kept checking her phone, and seemed like her mind was somewhere else entirely. I asked her if everything was okay, and she just said she was tired and stressed about a project at work. We went to bed early and she fell asleep almost immediately. I was lying there next to her, scrolling through my own phone, when I heard her phone buzz on the nightstand. The screen lit up and I couldn't help but glance over. What I saw made my stomach drop. There was a text message from someone named Cameron, and the preview showed, "I miss you too. When are you going to tell him?" My heart started racing. I stared at that message preview, telling myself there had to be an innocent explanation. Maybe Cameron was a friend going through a hard time, maybe it was about work, maybe I was misunderstanding, but deep down I knew I wasn't. Riley was sound asleep next to me, breathing deeply. Her phone was right there and I'd never looked through it before. I'm not usually the type to violate someone's privacy, but something about that message made my hands shake. I reached over and picked up her phone. That's when I noticed the sticky note attached to the back of her phone case. In Riley's handwriting, it said "Sweet Dreams" with a little heart drawn next to it. I'd never seen that note before. It seemed innocent enough, but something about it felt wrong in the context of that text message. I looked at her sleeping face, peaceful and beautiful, and I almost put the phone back down. But I couldn't. I had to know what was going on. I knew her passcode because I'd seen her enter it dozens of times, and she'd never made any effort to hide it from me. I unlocked her phone and went straight to her messages with Cameron. What I found there destroyed me. The conversation went back weeks. Cameron was her ex-boyfriend from college, Cameron Mitchell, who's 28. They'd been talking constantly, exchanging messages about how much they missed each other, how their breakup 5 years ago was a mistake, how they'd never stopped loving each other. But the worst part was what she'd said about me. "He's so clingy," she'd written. "He thinks we're going to get married or something. It's honestly pathetic how much he loves me. I can't wait to get out of here," she'd written in another message. "Living with him is suffocating. He's nothing compared to you. I'm just waiting for the right moment to tell him it's over," she'd written just 3 days ago. "I don't want to hurt him, but I can't keep pretending anymore." I sat there in the dark, reading message after message, feeling like someone was stabbing me in the chest over and over again. The woman I loved, the woman I'd been planning a future with, had been planning her escape for weeks. She'd been lying to my face every single day while texting her ex about how pathetic I was. But then I found the messages from earlier that day, the ones that made everything click into place. "I bought a plane ticket," she'd written. "I'm going to tell him tomorrow night and then fly out to you on Saturday." "I can't wait to hold you again," Cameron had replied. "It's been way too long. I know I should have done this weeks ago. I've been such a coward. Don't worry about it. You're doing the right thing. He'll get over it." I hope so. I do care about him, but I'm not in love with him anymore. I haven't been for months. I looked at the timestamp on that last message. She'd sent it at 6 p.m., just 2 hours before she came home and sat across from me at dinner, pretending everything was normal. She'd looked me in the eyes and smiled while planning to destroy my life the next day. I scrolled down further and found something that made my blood run cold. She'd screenshotted some of our private conversations and sent them to Cameron, mocking things I'd said to her in confidence. Personal things, vulnerable things I'd shared with her because I trusted her completely. "Look at this," she'd written, along with a screenshot of me telling her I loved her. He's so desperate for validation, it's actually embarrassing. That's when I saw the sticky note reference. In one of their conversations, Cameron had written, "Sweet dreams, baby. Can't wait until you're sleeping next to me instead of him." She'd written back, "I put a note on my phone to remind me of you every night. Sweet dreams, that's what you always used to say to me." The sticky note on her phone wasn't some random reminder. It was a daily reminder of her ex-boyfriend while she was lying in bed next to me. I felt sick. I felt angry. I felt humiliated. But most of all, I felt incredibly calm. It was like a switch had flipped in my brain. I wasn't going to beg her to stay. I wasn't going to fight for someone who had so little respect for me. I was going to give her exactly what she wanted. I quietly got out of bed and went to my laptop in the living room. I pulled up flight booking websites and looked up flights to Denver, where Cameron lived. Riley had mentioned in her messages that she was planning to fly out Saturday, which was 2 days away. But I had a better idea. I found a flight leaving at 10 a.m. the next morning, one-way ticket from our city to Denver. I used my credit card to book it, then printed out the boarding pass. Next, I went to our bedroom and quietly pulled out Riley's suitcase from the closet. I packed her clothes, her toiletries, her books, everything that belonged to her. I was methodical about it, making sure to include everything she'd need for a permanent move. I even packed the few things she'd left at my place when we first started dating, things that had sentimental value to her. I found her lease agreement for her old apartment in her desk drawer. She'd kept it even though she'd moved in with me, which now made perfect sense. She'd been planning this for longer than I'd realized. While I was packing, I found a journal she kept in her nightstand drawer. I almost didn't look at it, but curiosity got the better of me. The entries from the past month were devastating. She'd been documenting her growing resentment toward me, her excitement about reconnecting with Cameron, her plans to leave me. She'd written about how guilty she felt, but also about how trapped she felt in our relationship. One entry, dated just a week ago, read, "Brandon made dinner for us tonight and kept talking about places he wants to travel together next year." I just sat there nodding and smiling, knowing I'll be long gone by then. I feel terrible, but I also feel excited. Cameron and I are meant to be together. I never should have settled for Brandon. Settled. That's what I was to her, someone she'd settled for. I closed the journal and finished packing. By 3 a.m., I had everything ready. Her bags were packed and sitting by the front door. The boarding pass was printed. All that was left was to wait for her to wake up. I made coffee and sat at the kitchen table, staring at my phone. I thought about all the mornings we'd sat at this same table, talking about our days, making plans for the weekend. I thought about how she'd kissed me goodbye just yesterday morning, telling me she loved me, while knowing she was planning to leave me. At 7 a.m., I heard her alarm go off. She came stumbling out of the bedroom in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. "Morning, babe," she said, reaching for the coffee pot. "You're up early." "Good morning, Riley," I said calmly. "I have something for you." I slid the boarding pass across the table to her. She picked it up, confused. "What's this?" she asked, looking at the paper. "It's a boarding pass, one-way ticket to Denver. Your flight leaves in 3 hours. The color drained from her face. "Brandon, what are you talking about?" "I'm talking about Cameron. I'm talking about the fact that you've been planning to leave me for weeks. I'm talking about the messages you've been sending him about how pathetic I am." She started to stutter, her hands shaking. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Your phone was buzzing last night. I saw the message from Cameron. I saw the sticky note on your phone case. Sweet dreams, right? That's what he used to say to you." She sat down heavily in the chair across from me, her face pale. "Brandon, I can explain." "You don't need to explain. I read all the messages. I know about your plans to tell me tonight. I know about the plane ticket you bought. I know about the journal entries where you talk about how you've settled for me." Tears started streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry. I never meant for you to find out this way." "How did you mean for me to find out? Were you going to sit me down tonight and tell me you were leaving me for your ex? Were you going to pretend it was a sudden decision?" She couldn't look at me. "I was going to tell you the truth." "The truth? You haven't told me the truth in months. You've been lying to me every single day while texting your ex about how suffocating I am. I do care about you, Brandon. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did hurt me. You hurt me by lying to me. You hurt me by mocking me to your ex. You hurt me by making me feel like I was crazy for thinking something was wrong. You hurt me by staying with me when you didn't want to be here." I stood up and walked to the front door, where her bags were waiting. "Your stuff is packed. Your flight leaves in 3 hours. Cameron is waiting for you in Denver. Go live your sweet dreams." She followed me to the door, seeing her bags for the first time. You packed my things? I packed everything. I even included your journal in case you want to document how this conversation went. She started crying harder. Brandon, please, can we talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. You've made your choice. You made it weeks ago. I'm just making it easier for you to follow through. But what if I don't want to go? What if I want to stay and work things out? I looked at her, this woman I'd loved so completely, this woman who'd been planning to destroy me. Do you want to stay? She was quiet for a long moment. I don't know. That's not an answer someone gives when they love you. That's an answer someone gives when they're trying to figure out which option is more convenient for them. She wiped her eyes. I'm confused. I don't know what I want. I know what you want. You want to be with Cameron. You've wanted that for weeks. The only reason you're hesitating now is because you got caught before you could execute your plan on your own terms. I picked up her bags and carried them to the door. Your Uber will be here in 10 minutes. I already called one for you. You called an Uber? I called an Uber. I booked your flight. I packed your bags. I'm making it as easy as possible for you to do what you've been planning to do anyway. She stood there in her pajamas, staring at me like she'd never seen me before. I don't understand why you're doing this. I'm doing this because I love you enough to let you go. I'm doing this because I have enough self-respect not to beg someone to stay when they clearly don't want to be here. I'm doing this because you deserve to be with someone you actually want to be with, and I deserve to be with someone who doesn't think I'm pathetic. The Uber arrived right on time. I helped load her bags into the car while she stood on the sidewalk, still in her pajamas, looking lost and confused. Brandon, she said as I closed the trunk. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I know you are, but sorry doesn't change what happened. Sorry doesn't take back all the messages you sent about me. Sorry doesn't take back the weeks of lies. She got into the car and I closed the door. Through the window, I could see her crying. The driver looked at me sympathetically. Take care of yourself, Riley, I said. I hope you find what you're looking for. The car pulled away and I stood there in my driveway watching it disappear around the corner. I felt empty but also relieved. I felt hurt but also free. I went back inside and sat at my kitchen table, looking at the boarding pass I'd printed but not given her. I'd printed 2 copies just in case. I picked up my phone and took a picture of it, then sent it to Cameron with a simple message. She's on her way. Flight lands at 2 p.m. Don't break her heart like I did. I deleted his number immediately after sending it. Then I blocked Riley's number, blocked her on all social media, and changed my locks. I called in sick to work and spent the day cleaning the apartment, removing every trace of her presence. I donated the clothes she'd left behind to charity. I threw away the sticky note that had fallen off her phone case. That evening, I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't answer, but they left a voicemail. It was Riley calling from Cameron's phone. Brandon, I made it to Denver. I just wanted to call and say thank you. I know that sounds crazy, but you did the right thing. You gave me what I needed, even when I was too cowardly to take it myself. Cameron and I are talking, and I think we're going to try to work things out. I hope you can forgive me someday. I hope you find someone who loves you the way you deserve to be loved. I deleted the voicemail without listening to it a second time. It's been a week now, and I'm doing better than I expected. I'm hurt, obviously, but I'm not destroyed. I'm angry, but I'm not bitter. I'm disappointed, but I'm not hopeless. I keep thinking about that sticky note, about how she'd look at it every night while lying next to me. I keep thinking about how she'd smile at me in the morning while planning to leave me. I keep thinking about how she'd tell me she loved me while texting her ex about how pathetic I was. But I also keep thinking about how I handled it. I didn't beg. I didn't plead. I didn't try to convince her to stay. I didn't make it about me. I just gave her exactly what she wanted and walked away with my dignity intact. I'm not saying I'm a saint. I'm not saying I handled everything perfectly, but I'm proud of myself for not becoming someone I didn't recognize. I'm proud of myself for not letting her betrayal turn me into someone bitter and angry. I've started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee dates and casual conversations. I'm taking things slow, learning to trust again. I'm also going to therapy, working through the trust issues this whole experience created. But here's the thing I want anyone reading this to understand: when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When someone treats you like you're disposable, don't fight to prove you're not. When someone makes you feel like you're not enough, don't try to become more, just walk away. You deserve someone who thinks you're amazing, not someone who thinks you're pathetic. You deserve someone who can't wait to see you every day, not someone who feels trapped by your presence. You deserve someone who brags about you to their friends, not someone who mocks you to their ex. I hope Riley is happy with Cameron. I genuinely do. I hope they work out because if they don't, she'll have thrown away 2 relationships for nothing. But even if they don't work out, I won't be there to pick up the pieces. I won't be anyone's backup plan ever again. I'm worth more than that, and so are you.